Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. I'm Sean Duhamel. Today's Friday, October 7th. Thank you so much for joining with us and tuning in this week. Now, the focus of today's update is going to be on the growing number of reports that we're getting about attempted fraud taking place against public retirees, whether it's on the phone or through mail and so forth. But before I get into that topic, let me first just say a few words about the ongoing tragedy that we're seeing down in Florida. Now, I know that across the country over a number of years, we've had a growing number of natural disasters that members, whether living in Puerto Rico or the Carolinas or Florida, Louisiana, other locations have been victims of. But what makes this most recent tragedy with Hurricane Ian really hit home with us is the sheer number of members we have calling Florida home on an annual basis, that members who have retired and moved to Florida and are now Florida residents, or the thousands of retirees who visit Florida every winter as snowbirds. And we have a very heavy membership up and down both coasts of Florida, but predominantly along the Gulf Coast of Florida, stretching from Tampa all the way down to Naples. And that's why traditionally Mass Retirees has been holding a meeting on the east coast of Florida in Pompano Beach, as well as more recently 2 meetings on the west coast of Florida, one taking place in the St. Petersburg area in Largo, and then down in the Naples area in Bonita Springs. So news over the past week of the horrific tragedy and just the damage that Mother Nature has brought forth along the Gulf Coast, particularly in the Fort Myers area, Sanibel Island, Fort Myers Beach, places that all of us have been to. And in the past, I spent a good amount of time out on Sanibel and in Captiva and really up and down the Gulf Coast of Florida. And to see the damage on TV or the pictures is really heart-wrenching. And it makes it even worse knowing that we have thousands of members potentially who have been in harm's way personally, or potentially have lost their home and their lives have been turned upside down. So the message to all of you is, if you are someone who's a member of Mass Retirees and you're watching this, or if you know of a member who's impacted by Hurricane Ian, who might need some help or just someone to talk to and get some direction, reach out to the association. My personal phone number is on the back of your membership card. I also printed it within today's email message to members. Now, this information is only going to Mass Retirees members. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to help the public at large, but it's our job and responsibility to be there for our members, and we want to do that. The second request is that if you are someone who's living in those parts of Florida and you have a story to tell, also reach out to me. You can send me an email. Again, my email is contained within today's email address. You can reach me there or give me a call. We want to run a story in the January edition of our newsletter, The Voice, talking about the stories of our members and on the ground reports from our members living in the area of what you may have experienced personally and what your plans are now going forward. So that's what I wanted to cover at the outset of this message. That's the most important thing, is being here for our members and providing those services. An additional service that I want to touch on this week, and as I said at the outset, this is becoming a growing point of concern. Earlier this week, Frank Valeri, Tom Bonarigo, and I attended and participated in the fall conference of the Mass Association of Contributory Retirement Systems, known as MACRS. And thank you very much to Kathleen Kiley-Becchetti, the MACRS president, as well as the MACRS executive board, for allowing Tommy and myself to participate in the conference. And Tom took part on the legislative panel. I was afforded the opportunity to provide a Mass Retirees update. But one of the pieces of information that we received in return from the Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission, PERAC, and their executive director, John Parsons, is the growing concern amongst the retirement community of attempted cases of fraud against our members. Now, we all know of fraud taking place by email with all of the spam that we get, and via telephone with people calling up trying to defraud us. But we're also now seeing a growing trend where mail is coming to our members, and in many cases in the form of official looking documents that at times will have something resembling the state seal or an agency seal, or it may specifically mention your local retirement board or the Group Insurance Commission or PERAC, or even Mass Retirees. We've had some reports that Mass Retirees' name has been used in some of these correspondence. Now, apparently, the focus of this type of mail is trying to get our members, to get you, to provide your personal either Social Security number, banking information, credit card, health insurance information, fraudulently given to or collected by these various individuals or outfits out there looking to steal from people. So they'll request your banking information, you'll innocently give it to them, and then they will gain access to your bank account and try to clean you out. Someone attempted to do this to me just a couple of weeks ago. I got a call from my bank, from Citizens Bank, or what I thought was Citizens Bank, letting me know that my password for my online banking account had been compromised. And part of the phone call, which seemed at the outset to be legitimate, was saying that they would reset the password for me over the phone. And that was the first red flag, because no one should be asking you to reset your password over the phone. That's something that you need to do yourself on your end, or go to your local bank and have the bank manager or bank official help you in person to be able to reset your password or do those types of things. It should never take place over the phone. You should never provide that information to someone who contacted you, because you quite honestly have no idea who you're talking to. But as soon as they started requesting my information and I pushed back a little bit, saying that I was going to go to my local bank and could I have the name and phone number that the person was calling from, they immediately hung up. So it was obvious that I caught them, they knew they were caught, and they terminated the call. But what really rung home or brought this home for me was the fact that up until that point, I believed that this was a legitimate call from Citizens Bank. Now, fortunately, I caught on, no damage was done, they were not able to steal from me, but they got pretty darn close. So between that personal interaction a few weeks ago and now sitting this week listening to the report from PERAC, Frank and Tom and myself said, you know what, this is something that we need to report back to our members. So just a few helpful tips, and you've heard this countless times before, but again, do not provide your personal information over the phone to anybody. No legitimate agency or business is ever going to call you up asking you to give them, out of the blue, your personal information. And that includes your credit card information. It's one thing if you call the Group Insurance Commission or you call the State Retirement Board and you want to make some type of a change and you're telling them, this is my information, this is what they require. That's one thing. But it's another thing entirely if someone is reaching out to you out of the blue asking you for that information. And the same applies to documentation that you may receive in the mail. Again, there are a lot of fraud actors out there pretending to be someone they're not, pretending to be an official agency, asking for this information. And unfortunately, at times, retirees or others innocently make the mistake of providing it. So if you get something in the mail, you might want to verify that it is legitimate, before you take any action. And you can either call the number of your bank that's on your banking card or your back of your credit card or the Group Insurance Commission, or if you're in doubt or unsure, give us a call and we'll try to help you sort it out, or at least get you the official phone number to call to verify that this is legitimate. Because what some companies will also do is they will actually provide a false phone number for someone to call, and they'll pretend that it's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts when in fact you're calling somewhere else. You could be calling Russia or China or God knows where, and it's someone pretending to be something that they're not. So A little bit of caution goes a long way these days. This is the world we're living in now. This digital world, for all of the benefits of it, it also comes with some minuses as well. So a little bit of caution goes a long way. And again, we're here for you. If you need us for anything, give us a shout. But in particular, if you're questioning something you got in the mail or a phone call you got, I'd rather have a 2-minute conversation with somebody on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon and know that you're safe and that you have peace of mind than something nefarious happened and someone gets robbed. So with that, I'm going to sign off for today. Those of you who are watching this, if you are in Florida or in one of the other storm recovery zones at this point, I hope you're safe. I hope everything's okay. Let us know if we can be helpful. But in the meantime, you take care of yourselves, and we'll be back to you again next week with the most up-to-date information for you. Bye-bye, everybody.